Right. Good evening, everybody. It's Friday. If you're at home, you're chilling out, or we're gonna continue in our series here. Man, looking at parts of the story. It's a collection of short stories, and we've done a series of videos previously. So if you haven't checked that out, go and check it out. But today we're talking about the 5 laws of gold. Dawood, hello Dawood, Nasreen Dawood, hi. All right, so what are you doing on the Friday night? How come you are not out and about? Well, I'm glad that you're not out and about. You're not spending money, so that's always a good thing. All right, so let's talk about the 5 laws of gold. All right, so where's my page? All right, so the first law of gold. Gold cometh gladly at an increasing quantity to any man who will put by not less than 1/10 of his earnings to create an estate for his future and that of his family. Now, the book, The Richest Man in Babylon, set in ancient Babylon, so gold is a form of trade. Unlike we have here, where we have the coins and things for investment, there it's daily trade. So in this part of the law, the first law of gold is they're encouraging us. They're encouraging us to save 1/3 of our income. For them, it was gold, and for us, unfortunately, it's rands, a very weak rand, but we need to be putting some sort of money away for our future and for our families as well. And unlike back in the day in Babylon, we have the power of leverage today. And insurance is a great way of doing that, where you can pay a couple of $100 a month and get hundreds and thousands, possibly millions or multi-millions in terms of leveraging your rand power for the future. The second law of gold. Gold laboreth diligently and contently for a wise owner who finds it profitable employment, multiplying it even as the flocks of the field. So it's not just about putting that gold away, it's about putting that gold to work in order to multiply. All right, so here's a little snippet of the text here, right? Gold indeed is a willing worker, so the gold is working. It is ever eager to multiply when the opportunity presents itself. To every man who hath the store of gold set by, opportunity comes for its most profitable use. And as the years pass, it multiplies itself in surprising fashion. So it's not just about saving, okay? You save your 100 rand, you save your 1,000 rand, or however much you choose to save. But when you save and you put it in the bank, that money is stagnant. But however, when you choose to invest, you invest for income, you invest for appreciation. That's where the multiplication happens. And what's his name? The crazy guy, Einstein. Einstein had this idea of compound interest. He said it was the 8th wonder of the world. And if you don't understand compound interest, most likely you're paying compound interest. All right, so you got to put your money to work for you. The third law of gold. Gold clingeth to the protection of the cautious owner who invests it under the advice of men wise in its handling. Okay, so full disclosure, I'm a financial advisor, okay? All right, so here's a snippet on that. Gold indeed clingeth to the cautious owner, even if it flees the careless owner. The man who seeks the advice of men or woman wise in handling gold soon learneth not to jeopardize his treasure, but to preserve in safety and enjoy in contentment its consistent increase. So I know there's a lot of sources. It's The Richest Man in Babylon. All right. Somebody asked me, I can't pronounce your whole name. Anele. It's The Richest Man in Babylon. So here they're telling us that if you don't know how to invest or you don't know how to multiply your money, seek advice from those who do know. And it doesn't necessarily mean a financial advisor, because remember, in South Africa, we have advisors that are all about sales. And then there are advisors that are about really about the advice and about growing your wealth. So find the right kind of advisor, and also look for mentors who have gone ahead and done what you are looking to do. And nobody knows it all. And find somebody who's a few steps ahead of you and ask them to mentor you. The fourth law of gold. Gold slippeth away from the man who invests it in a business or purposes with which he is not familiar or which are not approved by those skilled in its keep. All right, and we see this happening a lot now. A lot of these forex scams, a lot of these Bitcoin scams, and even legit things that are happening. And people are corrupt. We see Steinhoff, we see the government. Today we see that they're planning a new energy provider. Can you imagine that? These people have not succeeded in building anything. Now they want to start a new energy company. So go slip it away from anybody who has no clue about what they're doing. To the man who hath gold, yet is not skilled in its handling, many uses for it appears most profitable. Too often they are fraught with danger of loss, and if properly analyzed by wise men, show small possibility of profit. Therefore, the inexperienced owner of gold who trusts to his own judgment and invests in a business or purposes with which he is not familiar often finds his judgment imperfect. So you're making wrong decisions when you're not familiar with the environment, with the investment options. It pays with his treasure for his inexperience. So there's a price for inexperience. Okay, and it's a hard price to pay. Yes, Adela, you say it's hard to find a mentor. Yeah, it is hard. Unfortunately, we don't have those kind of structures available in South Africa, in a South African context. A lot of people are in it for money, and there are groups. I can't remember. There's a term for it. I belong to one in the United States. It's a mastermind. A mastermind, that's what it's called. So it's usually run by a business leader, and there's a bunch of us in that group, and we share ideas. There's a hot seat every month, and we talk about our businesses, what our struggles are, and we bounce ideas from each other. So there's usually a coordinator, like a mentor among that group. So if you guys are keen, if you're looking for a money mindset group, we can set one up. Just send me a DM, and if there's a bunch of you, yeah, we can set it up. We can do it online. You don't have to be physically there. I told you my group is in the US. The fourth law of gold. Gold flees the man. The fifth law, sorry. Gold flees the man who would force it to impossible earnings, or who followeth the alluring advice of tricksters and schemers, or who trusts it to his own inexperience and romantic desires of an investment. Now, I sit with some of you guys, all right? And sometimes you guys ask me for the most ridiculous returns, but you're not willing to take the risk. So we gotta be realistic with our investments. If we're not willing to take the risk, we can't expect those really high-end returns. We need to consider the environment. We need to consider fees. We need to consider taxes. And I see a lot of these scams, these pyramid things with Bitcoin and Forex. And yeah, a couple of you have inboxed me to join kind of stuff. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. Those returns are often unrealistic. It's not sustainable. So be very about what kind of investments that you do invest in. Remember that I would always encourage you to invest in any investment that is regulated by the Financial Sector Conduct Authority, because that will allow you to have some sort of recourse if something goes sideways. Okay, so any investment that is licensed by the FSCA, it allows you to go through the various complaints process. If something goes wrong, you complain to the company. If you're not happy with the company, then you can go to the Umbod and you can make claims against the company. Everything is very regulated. If something happens that's not above board. Now, when you invest in a company, they'll advertise online, but they're not registered here. A good couple are sitting in places like Panama, where there's no extradition, where if something happens, we can't go get those people to get our money back. And a good example of that is this mirror trading thing. And there was a global thing. And all of these scams come from South Africans right here, right? And they're sitting in places like Panama where we can't reach them, where the authorities can't reach them. So be very wary of these kind of investments. So those are that's the 5 laws of gold. So go and get this book. It's a nice book. very thin. You can see it won't take you long to read. But it's ancient lessons set way back in the day. The book was written over 100 years ago, and always something interesting, something that you can apply to your personal finances. All right, cool. So yeah, that's my update on The Richest Man in Babylon for this week, and we'll chat again next week. Have a fabulous weekend.